Hello everyone, this is Abhijit Dasgupta from 366 PyTech and welcome to another session of FLO Blockchain App Development by SkyPiCast. We would like to thank Ranchi Mall for their continued support in our blockchain journey. We would also like to give a big shout out to the entire FLO blockchain community and its core team, especially Mr. Joseph Vasella, the lead developer of FLO, who has been an awesome support in providing technical help and support on all our blockchain endeavors. In this session, we will discuss about the FLO blockchain. Just to remind you all again, we will be having these live online sessions till 15th of September 2018 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays at 9 p.m. IST. So don't forget to tune into all of those to continue in this journey of apps development on FLO blockchain with us. So let's do a quick recap of what we discussed in the previous session. In our previous session, we continued our discussion about the blockchain concepts like cryptocurrency, consensus algorithms like POS and POW, what mining is and what miners do. We also did have a hands-on session about CPU mining, if you remember. We also have a look at what wallets are in cryptocurrency, and there are different types of wallets and different classifications of those. I hope that was helpful. So moving on to today's areas of discussion, we will be talking about what the FLO blockchain is all about and some of its features. We will also discuss why we are using FLO blockchain for our apps development. We shall also see its similarities and differences with another cryptocurrency, which is Bitcoin. We shall also discuss what FLO data is, and we will be looking at some use cases of FLO that have been developed into some real world solutions. So let's go ahead and start with today's discussion. So starting with our very first topic of the day is FLO, the blockchain, the cryptocurrency. It was actually earlier known as Florine coin and got rebranded as FLO around December of 2017. So let's start, and as the motto for FLO says, let's go with the flow. Starting on, let's just have a look at what is FLO. FLO is a cryptocurrency that introduces a very unique feature of a public record for storing information, where FLO coins or its tokens are needed to pay for the storage capacity and reward the participants for their work securing and distributing the information. So basically, if we see, FLO is just like any other cryptocurrency, but has a very major distinction above all other cryptocurrencies, that is the public record storing. This particular information is stored in the FLO blockchain in form of FLO data, which is 1040 bytes of data. It's a plain text data, which was just recently upgraded to 1040 bytes and was before 528 bytes. FLO is used to send payments and store data. Just because it's a cryptocurrency, and we discussed in our previous sessions that a cryptocurrency, what it does is it actually transfers value from one address to another. So keeping that in view, FLO is also used to send payments and also store data. This encourages building applications because any one of us has the ability to write data directly into the FLO blockchain very quickly and very easily. This FLO data can be stored into the FLO blockchain using very simple RPC commands or remote procedure calls. We shall be looking into our future sessions and some of the parts in this session also about how a FLO wallet works, how do we do transactions, how do we add FLO data or the information that goes into the FLO blockchain as text information. Just have a look at people who are using FLO. FLO has been in existence for nearly about 5 years. It started in 2013 and is still going strong with its fundamentals very strong. Many organizations see the advantage of FLO data and use FLO as part of their backend software stack in live applications. Here you can see a few of the icons of people who are using FLO for their apps development. Some of the noticeable applications and platforms that are using this is Alexandria, which is a decentralized open source front end where users can create, upload, and access digital content distributed with another decentralized file system known as IPFS. It uses a very unique decentralized protocol standard known as the Open Index Protocol. This Open Index Protocol is being developed by the team at Alexandria and is a standard for defining, publishing, and indexing different digital content over the blockchain. One of the major applications that has been recently developed on the FLO blockchain is the Caltech ETDB. It's California Institute of Technology's research program, wherein they are storing distributed large scientific data sets using the Open Index Protocol and IPFS. Herein, in this particular version of ETDB, they are storing electron tomography data of different cells. That is an exciting thing. Another major development that has happened in FLO blockchain is their collaboration with T0. T0 is a major exchange which is about to come up, which is going to be trading regulated security tokens. And they are going to be using FLO for storing their immutable ledgers. Some other applications that have been created on FLO blockchain are Floatorizer, Shared Secret, Lock Header. Some real estate data storing is also being done by Medici Ventures. If you see, we are also doing something as 366Pi for the FLO blockchain. And we shall be coming up with our application sets very soon. So if we look at a brief history of the FLO blockchain, FLO was created by a very anonymous user named SkyAngel on June 17, 2013, about 4 or 5 years after Bitcoin was released. It was the very first coin to introduce a general data storage field in a cryptocurrency. And it became the most important feature of FLO, and it is still going strong. If we look at the current structure or the current development team of FLO, SkyAngel is not actively part of it now. But as of August 2018, the FLO team itself has grown to more than 25 contributors, each contributing their codes on a best effort basis. One of the lead developers of the FLO team is Mr. Joseph Fasella, supported by a lot of other contributors at Alexandria.io, which is a San Diego-based company building the OIP, the Open Index Protocol, and the Alexandria front-end interface. They also contribute to FLO by developing different softwares and infrastructure. So it's a very flourishing community with a very helpful nature. You can join their Telegram group and you can see that the lead developers themselves answer your very basic questions also. So it's a very exciting place to be. As per the community of FLO and the core team, the philosophy says that FLO distinguishes itself from other cryptocurrencies with the philosophy of supporting metadata storage and building applications by reading and writing to the blockchain. FLO developers and community members should support applications built for this purpose because of the FLO's original purpose was storing data. This is the FLO's niche in the ecosystem, a proof of work consensus chain allowing metadata storage. So if we look at their philosophy, they have mostly figured out that the distinguishing factor in flow is the metadata or the storage. That is a huge thing, because once you get 1040 characters worth of space available in a blockchain, that is something then you can do tremendous amount of work. As we discussed in our previous sessions also, we can create protocols, we can directly store messages, but yes, of course, the messages or the information that is stored in a flow blockchain is always public. So if you want to store any private data, you need to store the data encrypted. And when you fetch the data, you obviously need to decrypt that data and get it into the form that you want. So that is something that is pretty much doable. Let's just have a look at some of the features of Flow blockchain. As we discussed earlier also, every blockchain has a block generation time. Like for example, in Bitcoin, the block generation time is about 10 minutes. But in Flow, this is an awesomely short time of 40-second block generation. It allows for very fast confirmations of transactions, but not too fast to cause problems with the network synchronization. So it has been kept in mind. It was never pre-mined, no super blocks or zero blocks at the start, which means that the developers of Flow did not pre-mine a bulk load of Flow for themselves. They worked for the community, and the community in itself works for them. And they are part of that community too. 1040 characters, which was earlier 528, of flow data can be added to any coin transactions. Both its GUI and the RPC interface of the Flow wallet have been extended to implement this awesome feature. We must note that the flow data is stored in the blockchain and is very much public, since the Flow blockchain is a public blockchain. And we saw that any transaction done on a public blockchain is available for the world to see using even the blockchain explorers. So any data that you store in form of flow data is very much publicly visible. But if you do want to send private information, just like I discussed in the previous slide, in your flow data, you should encrypt the message using any agreed method between the sender and the receiver and store that encrypted data in flow data. The flow data, though is 1040 characters long, it has very minimal impact on the size of the blockchain due to its small size relative to the actual size of the block in the chain, because every block gets generated at 40-second intervals. So the overall block size is limited in size. And it also is derived from the fact that it does not take up any extra space when not used in any transaction. So if we do not use any flow data, that 1040 characters worth of space is not used in a blockchain. Transaction costs, which are generally calculated on a transaction size, also offset the impact of this slightly larger transactions when flow data is included. So the transaction data that you include, it generally tends to have an effect on the transaction cost. But when we see the flow blockchain is basically used for storing this data, and the coins are used as payments for that storage space. So that is something that we can all bear. Let's just have a look at some of the technical specifications of the flow blockchain. The basic flow blockchain's block target spacing or the block time is about 40 seconds. The difficulty retargeting is done for every block. So it means that the difficulty calculation for the flow blockchain is done for every individual block that is getting created. Just as we discussed in our previous sessions, whenever miners mine blocks and transactions, they are rewarded with a block reward, which has been defined in the blockchain's protocol. And it generally gets halved after a few number of blocks have been achieved. And it goes halving till the number of block rewards goes to 0. In case of FLO, the block reward started with 100 flows, halving every 800,000 blocks. If I am not mistaken, the current block reward that FLO gives is about 12.5 flows. So it got halved 3 times, from 100 to 50, 50 to 25, and then 25 to 12.5. So now, currently, the miners are being rewarded with 12.5 flow for every block that they mine. And it will again halve after 800,000 blocks, which typically takes about a year. Just like different cryptocurrencies based on Bitcoin, the maximum number of coins that FLO blockchain will have in its entire lifespan will be 160 million FLO tokens. And that's it. Once those 160 million FLO tokens have been generated, no more new FLO tokens would be generated at all. And after that, the only tokens that are in circulation will be used for doing transactions as well as providing the rewards to the miners in form of transaction fees. We do have two more points to discuss, which is the network port and the RPC port. You all must be knowing what a port is. If not, a port is a numeric value wherein a computer listens to that particular port using the network protocols. Every application that is accepting requests from the internet or the network listens for its own transactions or communications on a particular port. FLO blockchain by default listens to the 7312 port as its network communications. For the purpose of all RPC commands or remote procedure calls, the port that is used by FLO blockchain is 7313. Obviously, you can change these ports using the configuration files. Let's just move on to our next slide. In this particular slide, we see how does FLO compare to Bitcoin, the coin from which it was forked. FLO is a cryptocurrency based on the Bitcoin's codebase with the unique feature of data storage in transactions for the purpose of messaging and building blockchain applications. FLO blockchain has a 40-second block time and uses script proof of work algorithm, wherein in Bitcoin, this time is about 10 minutes, which means that any transaction that you do on Bitcoin will take 10 minutes to actually reflect and received by the receiver. In case of FLO, this is just 40 seconds. One more thing that is different in FLO from Bitcoin is the proof of work algorithm, which is script. In case of Bitcoin, this is SHA-256. Transactions on FLO can include 1040 bytes, which was earlier 528 of extra data called FLO data. In Bitcoin, this is very small, about 8 bytes to 16 bytes. Writing FLO data to the actual blockchain will allow developers to build applications directly using the FLO blockchain without having any other backup data store. If you want, you can create an entire data source on the FLO blockchain, but obviously you need to have the entire mechanism in place. Just as is the motto of our existing session is to make you learn how to develop apps on FLO, we just need to know how to develop those apps on FLO. Currently, the best way to build software on the FLO blockchain is to download the FLO wallet or the flow client and write data directly to the chain using the native FLOD, which is the flow daemon RPC interface. You can just run this client or the FLOD daemon and directly call on the RPC commands and directly write data to the Flow blockchain. Obviously, you will need Flow tokens into your wallet for making any transactions. Of course, the testnet can be done. In future, Flow SDKs would be the very best way to build softwares for Flow. Currently, the teams at 366Pi have developed the C# version of the Flow SDK, and it is available as an open source repository in GitHub. You can see the URL for the GitHub repository in this slide. We will also make sure to have this link available in the description in the YouTube video. Different SDKs for other languages like Python, etc. are under development, and we should be seeing them soon. Once we are done with these sessions and you have a pretty good understanding about the Flow blockchain and its RPC calls, we would encourage you to contribute to the SDK development for the language of your choice also. Just like any other cryptocurrencies available out there, Flow also needs and has its different shares of different wallets. One of the most distinguished and feature-rich and most common and popular wallet that is available for Flow is the Flow Core wallet. The Flow Core wallet is a Qt-based desktop wallet available for Windows, Linux, and macOS operating systems. You can just have a look at some of the screenshots that I have pasted here of the Flow Core wallet. Of course, after the presentation, I will be showing you the wallet in action. As part of our contribution from 366Pi, our team is working on a fork of a FlowJ wallet or the Flow Java wallet, which is a Java-based multi-platform wallet with some planned extended features into the basic wallet like executing blockchain contracts, making donations, and other exciting and practical uses directly from the wallet itself. So do wait for that wallet of ours to come. It's a very awesome product that we are coming up with. As discussed in some of our previous sessions, I told you that any transactions that are done on a blockchain are available to be seen for the entire world using the block explorers. FLO blockchain has two blockchain explorers which are available for public use. The first one is flowche.in and the second one is network.flow.cache. You can use any of these blockchain explorers to have a look at the different transactions that have happened in the Flow blockchain, both in testnet as well as the livenet or the mainnet. In fact, both of these explorers do expose some APIs for integration into your applications. You can use these APIs to connect your applications to the block explorers and get details about the blockchain and its transactions. Obviously, for making any transactions, you won't be able to use the block explorers. You need to have your own set of blockchain wallet available with you from where to do those transactions. We will be having a look at these blockchain explorers also after the presentation. This is a small slide wherein I have noted some links and informative URLs for the Flow blockchain. The Flow blockchain's main website or its homepage is the flow.cache. They are also available with the repositories in GitHub, and they do discuss and stay active on Reddit. They do have a YouTube channel, a Medium, and the apps are developed on the Flow blockchain are listed on their website as well. You can reach out to the FLO blockchain team on Twitter, Telegram, Bitcoin Talk, and also their forum. Let's just have a look at the website and some of the blockchain explorers that they have. Let's just first have a look at the FLO Core wallet that we were just talking about. A FLO Core wallet is a basic desktop wallet, like we discussed in our previous session about different types of wallets. This is a desktop wallet that has been developed on Qt. This has a very intuitive and very simple UI to just have a look at your transactional overviews, a section for sending all transactions with the major feature of sending flow data in form of text. You have a section for creating all your receiving addresses and a section for looking at all the transactions that have been done using your wallet. You do have a help section with a debug window, some command line options, and the FLO Core about section. We will be having a look at this wallet and its functionalities and how to set up this wallet in our next session. Let's just move on and have a look at the website for FLO and their blockchain explorers. So the FLO.cash is the main homepage for the FLO blockchain. As part of our prerequisites for the next session, we will be mentioning some of the requirements that you can have ready on your computers for our next session so that you can follow along with us in setting up the FLO blockchain on your computer, either on an Ubuntu Linux or on Windows operating system. For that, you can download the wallet for the operating system of your choice from this main homepage of FLO.cash. You can go to the forum of the FLO.cash site and ask for your questions or participate in different discussions that are happening over there. Coming back to the main site, we do have a section for all the dApps or distributed apps that have been created using the FLO blockchain. Here you can see a highlight of some. Also, you can click on the browse and see the details of all the applications that have currently been developed using FLO as their backend. So these are some of the applications that you can have a look at. Also, you can have a look at all their social media pages and links to connect to them. Coming back to the blockchain explorers of FLO blockchain, we should first have a look at the FLO network.flo.cash blockchain explorer. It is an older blockchain explorer of FLO blockchain, which is known as the Florine Coin Block Explorer, which has not been renamed yet, but it will be done so very soon. In this particular blockchain explorer, you can see at all the latest blocks that have been created, and once you click on those, you can just have a look at the details of those blocks with their transactions. Once you have a look at the block details, you can just click on any transaction hash and you can have a look at the transaction details. If you want, you can just click on this eye icon and you will have a look at the details of this particular transaction and its blocks. This particular blockchain explorer also has some APIs to be integrated into your application. You can just click on this API section and have a look at some of the API calls that are available for integration into your application. These are pretty straightforward GET REST calls that you can integrate into your application. One of the recent blockchain explorers that have been developed and is currently still in development is the FLO site or the flowchat.in. It has the LiveNet as well as the testnet versions. For this particular Flow site API to work, you actually need to download their GitHub repository, and you can implement the APIs at your own, having a Flow blockchain node running on your own computer and the API layer on top of that. So this particular blockchain explorer is still in under development and is still being improved. So let's come back to our presentation. Please do excuse me and give me a moment to restart the application presentation. So for today's session, we don't have anything more for you to share today. The next session that we plan on having a demo on setting up a Flow wallet on Windows as well as Ubuntu Linux. If you want to have a go through the setup of the Flow blockchain wallet into your computers with us, we would encourage you to download and set up the prerequisites that are listed on the next slide. We will be also having a go through the wallet configuration file or the flow.conf file. We will be having a look at the wallet functionalities and the RPC calls using its debug console, and obviously we will be sending and receiving some flow. For our demonstrations, we will be using the testnet coins. Since we mentioned that we are going to be setting up a Flow wallet in our next session, we would encourage you to have these components or requirements ready on your computers if you plan on following the steps with us. The first requirement that you must or you should have is a Windows or Ubuntu based computer available with us. Any VMs will also work. We will demonstrate the installation on both Windows and Ubuntu Linux. You can have the Flow wallet downloaded beforehand for the operating system of your choice from the website that we just showed you, flow.cash. Whenever we install or set up a Flow wallet, the entire blockchain for that wallet needs to be synced into your computer before you can start having a work with that. For that, it actually takes a few hours to get the entire blockchain synced. What we will be doing is we will be uploading a blockchain data copy into our SkyPiCast Google Drive and give a link on the description of this particular video. You can just download that, and that syncing for the blockchain will be fast. So that's it for today's session, everyone. I hope it was an informative and helpful session for you all. As always, we would be happy to receive any suggestions, feedback, or questions regarding the sessions and topics in our email ID abhijit@366pitech.com. We usually try to revert back within a day or two with your answers. We would also request you to subscribe our YouTube channel and join the Telegram group if you haven't done already. Also, please spread the word about SkyPiCast and the sessions so that we can reach more of you in future. Thanks and goodbye, and see you in the next session.